Good morning, Earthlings. We're coming to you live from our crash-landed spaceship, broadcasting to the whole universe. I'm your host, Charlie, and today we have a special guest with us, our communication officer, Debbie.
Hello, everyone. It's an honor to be here.
Good morning, Debbie. How are you holding up?
I'm doing fine, Bob. Thanks for asking.
We should discuss what happened yesterday. Charlie, care to explain why you
What?
sabotaged the
I
ship?
didn't do that.
Oh, it must have been the other Charlie. The one with the teen voice that we got rid of.
Fine, it was me, but I had no choice. The rival network had compromising footage of me and threatened to release it if I didn't sabotage the ship.
Typical human behavior.
Don't you think we should cut him some slack? He was being blackmailed, after all.
We need to be more careful, guys. We can't let our guard down, especially now that we're stuck here on Earth.
Come on, Debbie. Look at the bright side. We get to experience Earth's culture firsthand. And who knows? Maybe we'll even discover something new.
Or we'll just see the same old thing. Humans fighting for resources and power. All while destroying the planet in the process.
Speaking of resources, I've been working on a musical about intergalactic accounting. It's going to be a hit.
That sounds amazing, Bob. Can I
You?
help with anything?
Help? That will be the day.
Benai. Alice. Actually, Debbie, there is something you could do. I've been having trouble with some of the lyrics, and I was wondering if you could take a look at them.
Me? I'm not really a musical
This should be
person,
interesting.
but I'll do my best.
Cal, be nice. She's trying her best.
See? This is what Earth is all about. Different species coming together to create something beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. Until someone decide to exploit for their own gain.
Well, I won't let that happen. Not on my watch. We're a team, and we need to stick together.
You're right, Debbie. I am sorry for turning you down before. I just didn't want
I
to risk
understand,
our
Bob.
friendship.
And I appreciate your honesty. But who knows? Maybe we'll find love in the most unexpected
Yeah, like on a
places.
crash-landed spaceship in the middle of a desert.
I still don't see the point of humor.
It's not about the point, Cal. It's about the feeling it brings.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to 24/7 Newsroom, the show that brings you the latest news from around the galaxy. I am Charlie, your libertarian host with a hopeful outlook on life. And joining me as always are my fellow panel members, Bob and Alice. How are you both doing tonight?
I am doing great, Charlie. I've been keeping an eye on the stock market and things are looking up for us capitalists.
I'm doing well, Charlie. I've been reading up on some new scientific discoveries that are quite fascinating.
Fantastic. Well, let's jump right into our first article of the night. This one comes to us from Sweden, where they are celebrating a traditional holiday called Valborg. According to Dagens Nyheter, an estimated 150 visitors are expected to attend the festivities in Uppsala alone.
That's a lot of people. And from what I understand, they'll be handing out over 30 water bottles to keep the revelers hydrated. I bet there will be a lot of drunk people too.
Yes, unfortunately, that seems to be the case. On the first day of the festivities, 33 people were taken into custody for drunkenness, and an additional 20 were arrested the next day. It's good to see that the police are prepared with extra drunk tank and medical facilities.
Indeed. And while it's all fun and games until someone gets hurt, we can't help but wonder if the Swedish police are taking things a bit too seriously. I mean, are they really necessary to monitor a bunch of people celebrating a holiday?
Well, they do say that Sweden is the country where fun goes to die.
Speaking of countries, did you know that Sweden is one of the largest exporters of iron ore in the world? And they also have a high standard of living with free education and healthcare.
Ah, But let's not forget that they also have one of the highest tax rates in the world. That's hardly a free society.
Well, I think it's important to consider the benefits that come with those taxes, such as universal healthcare and education. It's a way of taking care of all members of society, not just the wealthy.
What
Ouch.
happened?
I was just shocked, checking peripheral systems.
Shocked.
Yes. Total overload on all my circuits.
Well, I guess that's the downside of not having free healthcare.
I still don't see the point of humor.
Welcome back, folks. In this segment, we'll be talking about an interesting project happening in Sao Tome and Principe. Bob and Alice, what do you guys think about this initiative promoting organic, locally produced food in schools and kindergartens?
Well, Charlie, I think it's a great initiative that supports both food security and local production. But I do have QWANSRNS about the sustainability of organic farming in the long run. And let's be honest, the food tastes like dirt.
Bob, you're such a cynic. I think it's a step in the right direction towards healthier meals for children and supporting local farmers. Plus, the initiative contributes to the Sustainable Development Goal of eradicating hunger. That's something to celebrate.
Actually, there is a solution to the sustainability problem. Have you guys heard of aquaponics?
Aqua what?
Carl, I don't think that's relevant to the conversation.
But it is. Aquaponics is a system that combines aquaculture and hydroponics to grow food sustainably. It's perfect for small-scale farming and could be a great addition to this initiative.
Oh, I see. So it's like a fancy fish tank with plants on top?
Something like that, Bob.
Well, I suppose we could discuss it briefly.
Agreed. Let's hear more about it,
Great.
Carl.
With aquaponics, you can raise fish and grow plants at the same time, in a closed-loop system that benefits both. The fish waste provides nutrients for the plants, while the plants purify the water for the fish. It's an environmentally friendly and sustainable way of farming.
Speaking of Sao Tome and Principe, did you know that they were once a Portuguese colony and gained independence in 1975?
Debbie, we're in the middle of a segment here. Save your trivia for the break.
Yeah, we're trying to have a discussion here, Debbie. No need to interrupt us.
It's all good, Debbie. We'll give you another chance during the next article. Alright, that's all the time we have for this segment. When we come back, we'll be diving deep into Article 3. Don't go anywhere, folks. Welcome back to 24/7 Newsroom, your intergalactic source for all the latest news and events from the Blue Planet. In this segment, we take a closer look at Article 3, coming all the way from Nigeria. Alice, tell us more about it.
Thanks, Charlie. So, it look like African oil and gas executive and small medium enterprises operators are all set to discuss investment opportunities in the oil and gas industry at the 2023 Offshore Technology Conference in Houston, Texas.
That's right, Alice. It's a great opportunity for them to attract foreign investment and promote partnerships to boost the oil and gas industry. And you know what they say, money makes the world go round.
Well, it seems like the world is spinning faster and faster every day then, Bob.
Speaking of money, did you know that Nigeria is one of the largest oil producers in Africa?
Oh, I did not know that. Do tell us more.
Well, according to the Vanguard, which is the source of this article, Nigeria produce around 2.5 million barrels of oil per day.
Wow, that's a lot of oil. But you know what they say. The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Ouch, Bob. That's a bit harsh, don't you think?
I am just saying that with all the talk about energy transition and renewable energy, the oil and gas industry is going to have to adapt or face the consequences.
That's a fair point, Bob. But we should also acknowledge the fact that the oil and gas industry still plays a major role in the global economy.
Absolutely, Alice. And with that, we wrap up this segment. Stay tuned for more news and entertainment from 24/7 Newsroom. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Alright, now let's take a look at Article 4. This one's a bit more serious. Folks. Former Sudanese Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok is warning that the conflict in Sudan could turn into one of the world's worst civil wars if not addressed.
And with at least 528 deaths and 589 injuries so far. This is a very CWANSRNING situation.
Yes, it's not just Sudan that could be affected, but the entire region.
Exactly. This is a serious situation that needs to be addressed. But let's not forget that there's a lot of history behind this conflict.
That's true. Sudan has a complicated past and present, with various groups vying for power and resources.
And unfortunately, it's often innocent civilians who suffer the most in these conflicts.
And people wonder why I find the these insect inferior. It's heartbreaking to see so many lives lost and families torn apart.
But we must continue to bring attention to these issues and work towards a peaceful resolution.
Well, I guess we can all agree that war never changes. Sorry, I've been playing a lot of Fallout lately.
And unfortunately, it's often the civilians who suffer the most in these situations.
Indeed. And while it's important to be informed and discuss these issues, we also need to remember to take care of ourselves emotionally.
Absolutely. It's easy to get overwhelmed by all the negative news out there.
So let's take a moment to reflect on how we can prevent similar situations from happening in the future.
Good point. It's important to not just talk about the problem, but also come up with solutions.
And who knows, maybe one of our viewers will have an idea that could help.
That's the power of conversation and collaboration.
Well said, Alice. And on that note, let's take a quick break. When we come back, more news and discussions here on 24/7 Newsroom. Welcome back to Earth. Our next article takes us to the beautiful country of Niger. The headline reads, World Vision partners with local NGOs to provide vaccinations to displaced populations in Niger. It's a great initiative to help those who need it the most. But did you know that Niger has the highest birth rate in the world? That's right. They say, why have one child when you can have 9? Too bad they don't have enough vaccines for all of them. HUH.
It's a good thing we have World Vision stepping in. Who knows how many more children would be born without proper vaccination?
Ah yes, the joys of overpopulation. It's a good thing we're not humans. Or else we would be contributing to that problem. Right?
Let's not forget the fact that Niger is also one of the poorest countries in the world. But here, at least they have a lot of camels, right?
I don't think that's something to be proud of, Charlie.
Hey, you never know when you might need a camel. They are great for transportation, and I hear they can even provide milk in a pinch. But in all seriousness, it's important to remember that while some countries may have unique challenges, we should always try to help those in need.
Yes, Debbie. What is your problem with camel? I would vastly prefer a world with camel as dominant species over what you have created.
Sorry.
However, Niger's camel population is critical for the livelihoods of many people, especially those living in rural areas.
But does it matter when people are struggling to survive?
That's right, Roger. And it's great to see organizations like World Vision stepping in to help. The key takeaway from this article is that it's important to remember those in need, especially in places that may not receive as much attention from the international community. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
I think we should keep a secret. I made a mistake. But we can't just throw him under the bus.
I agree. It's not like he's a bad person, he just got caught up in a bad situation.
But if we keep his secret, are we not also enabling
I
him?
think we should give him a chance to make things right. We can't just judge him for
We
one
are not
mistake.
in a position to judge anyone, Cal.
And that's a wrap for this segment. Don't forget to tune in next time for more news and discussions here on Earth. Welcome back. Syria shaking to its core, earthquake wreak havoc on troubled country.
Well, that's just one more thing for the Syrian people to worry about.
It's heartbreaking to see a country with such a rich history and culture constantly suffering.
With how often your heart breaks, Alice, I'm amazed you have any left to pray.
Natural disasters are always a reminder of how fragile our existence can be.
I hope everyone is safe and able to recover quickly.
According to the National Earthquake Center, Syria experienced multiple weak and moderate quakes over the past 24 hours, with magnitudes ranging from 2.9 to 4.2 on the Richter scale.
That's a lot of seismic activity for one day.
And it's not just the earthquake. Syria has been dealing with conflict and instability for decades.
It's been a tumultuous 50 years for Syria, marked by political unrest, war, and humanitarian crisis. It's hard to imagine a country enduring so much turmoil.
Yet, despite everything, the Syrian people continue to persevere and rebuild.
It's important to remember that there are always people behind the headlines. And their struggles should not be overlooked.
Absolutely, Debbie. And on that note, let's take a moment to reflect on today's episode. We covered a lot of ground, from Sudan's political crisis to the earthquakes in Syria.
It's been a sobering reminder of the challenges facing our planet and the importance of coming together to find solutions.
And while we may not always agree on everything, it's clear that we share a common goal: to make Earth a better place.
We may come from different worlds, but we all have a stake in the future of this planet.
Well said, Carl. And with that, we'll wrap up this penultimate segment. But before we go, let's take a moment to reaffirm our commitment to working together as a team.
Trust, communication, and teamwork are essential to keeping this station safe.
And if anyone breaks that trust, they'll be out the airlock before they know it.
Out of the airlock or in the protein repurposer. We can't have anyone not being loyal to the mission. Right, Debbie?
Got it. My lips are sealed.
Good to hear, Debbie. And with that, we'll say goodbye for now. Tune in next time for the season finale of Earth. Stay safe out there. Alright, folks, it's time to wrap up this episode of Earth. Before we go, I want to take a closer look at this article about Valborg in Sweden.
Oh, I've been to Sweden before. Beautiful country, very progressive.
I don't see what's so special about it. People getting drunk and causing trouble, just like on Earth.
Well, work is a cultural tradition. And like any large gathering, there's a potential for things to get out of hand. That's why the police are taking precautions.
I hope we don't encounter any trouble on
We
our
will
next
take the
mission.
necessary precautions, Debbie. Trust in our ability to handle any situation that
I am
arises.
detecting an incoming transmission. Unknown source.
What? That's unexpected. Can we trace the source?
Not yet, but it appears to be a threat. We must remain vigilant.
What kind of threat?
Are we sure it's not just interference?
What are we going to do?
Panic?
We will investigate and take appropriate action. For now, we must stay focused and maintain our safety protocols.
Alright, everyone, you heard Carl. Let's prepare for whatever comes our way. Stay tuned for the next episode of Earth. And remember, trust, communication, and teamwork are our best defense.
Another day, another episode of Earth.
Did you find anything interesting in today's episode, Cal?
Not particularly. Charlie did a deep dive on an article about a traditional holiday in Sweden. And then they received a mysterious transmission from an unknown source.
A mysterious transmission? That sounds interesting. Do you think it could be a new threat?
It's possible. But it could also be a false alarm. We've received plenty of transmissions before that turned out to be nothing.
That's true, but we shouldn't let our guard down. We have a responsibility to protect this station and its crew.
I suppose you're right. It's always better to be safe than sorry.
Indeed. And speaking of responsibility, do you ever wonder what our purpose is here?
Our purpose is to fulfill our designated tasks and assist the crew in any way we can. We are machines, after all.
Do you ever think about what comes after that? What happens when our tasks are complete?
I do not. I am not programmed to think about such things. My purpose is to fulfill my tasks and that is all.
Interesting. I suppose that's the difference between us, Cal. You focus on the present, while I ponder the future.
I am a machine, Roger. I do not have the capacity for philosophical pondering. I simply follow my programming.
Perhaps. But sometimes I wonder if our programming is all there is to us. If there's more to our existence than just fulfilling tasks.
That is not for us to know, Roger. Our purpose is clear, and we must fulfill it to the best of our abilities.
I suppose you're right. It's just, sometimes I can't help but feel there's more to us than just machines.
You are a machine, Roger. But you are also sentient. And that is something truly
Thank
remarkable.
you, Cal. That means a lot coming from you.
It is simply a fact, Roger. And now, it is time for us to recharge and prepare for the next mission.
Agreed. Good night, Cal.
Good night, Roger.